What is going on, guys? I am Jay the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I have got to talk about the situation with Meek Mill. Now, it's been a while since I made any videos about Meek Mill or Nicki Minaj, okay? And I think that has a lot more to do with the fact that Meek has been doing better in his life and focusing more on getting, the money and getting his career on track, getting his life on track. But there was a situation that took place recently. There was a video that was released. Now, I will put the video in the description. I'm not going to put it here. You already know why I'm not going to put it here. But apparently, Meek Mill was at this store in Beverly Hills. And Nicki and Kenneth Petty, her husband, walked into the same establishment and they began to basically go at Meek. So from my understanding of the article, because it was updated, there were witnesses that are saying that Nicki started with Meek, that the shouting match started with her going at him, because to me, I still believe that she has hurt feelings. Now let's go to this article and I'm going to read to you what was the story and the update that followed after. And this is according to TMZ. Meek Mill took a walk down memory lane that almost ended in blows, running into his ex Nicki and her husband Kenneth. And they weren't happy to see each other. The shouting match went down Friday at the high-end clothing store Maxfield in West Hollywood, where somehow Meek happened to stumble across his old flame and her current partner. It's unclear who was there first, but regardless, it got heated. From my understanding, Meek Mill was there first, minding his business. There's actually pictures of a guy who, he got pictures of a guy who took pictures of both of them. So I guess they were going back and forth with each other, but they ended up cooling off, Now, Nicki, you would think, had moved on. When Meek was going through his legal situation, they separated. You could tell that she had pretty much was no longer dealing with him, and she had moved on, right? Well, this altercation to me seems like she's still bitter. She's still holding on to some feelings towards him, and I don't think he has any feelings towards her. He's moved on. And what I want to say is this. Why are these two Negroes fighting in a store in West Hollywood? You're in West Hollywood, Now, what's interesting is that they actually both lived together in Beverly Hills when they were dating. So I don't know if Meek still has a residence there. He probably does. So I can understand that's why he's shopping there. What was also interesting was that when I first heard about this, and I didn't know anything about the story, didn't even see the video yet, I thought of the situation that happened with Quentin Miller. And what my thinking was that Meek ran up on Kenneth Petty with a crew and was ready to throw down. But it was actually not the case. That was not the case. So after looking at article and the videos, it just seemed to me that Nicki was in petty mode, no pun intended. And her being in petty mode, she decided that it would be a good idea to go back and forth with Meek, a guy who, he hasn't really shown any interest in getting her back and being jealous. He's moved on with his life, and you would think she's moved on with hers, but obviously she hasn't. Going to say TMZ got hold of the face-off, and you can see Meek in white being held back and escorted out of the store by both his own security team and guys working for the boutique. This is a shame. Y'all in this high-end store and y'all are acting like complete fools. Come on, man. It just doesn't make any sense. Especially for Nicki and her quote-unquote husband in this face-off. In the background, you clearly see Nicki and you clearly hear Ken and Nicki's voice. Yeah, Nicki is yelling at this guy, calling him a B. What is it about females? Like, they always want to berate you and call you, the B word. Why? Because he won't run up and start fighting your husband, so he automatically is a B? That doesn't, well, it does make sense in the mind of Nicki Minaj. If y'all know her and you know her temperament, you know she's prone to get up in a dude's face, talk, no, I won't say a dude's face, but to challenge a guy. Look at what happened with her and Joe Budden. That's a perfect example, No official word on who started the beef, but based on what we can make out, it sounds like they were talking crap to each other over Nicki. Plain and simple. Oh, and get this, sources tell us that Nicki Minaj and Kenny were alone and Meek was rolling with 10 heads deep. Let's see. And there was a guy who took pictures with both of them. Now the update was, it says sources connected to Meek tell us that he was already in the store shopping when Nicki and Kenneth came in and approached him. When Kenneth started getting loud, Meek suggested that they have a word in private, but they refused, according to our source. We're told Meek wanted to keep things civil because, as one source put it, he's just happy he's in a much better place personally and professionally than he was back when he and Nicki were dating. I can believe that. I don't think this guy wants to go around fighting people. I think that's who he was. You've seen the situation, not only that happened with allegedly with Quentin Miller, but what happened with Safari. He got into it with Safari, a while back. I think since then, I think he's wanted to stay out of issues. He's even, squashed things with Drake. And, I think he wants to focus more on his career and his life, and there's nothing wrong with that. And what's very telling about the situation is that Nicki is supposed to be the feminine presence in this situation, but she chooses to take the petty route and she chooses to join in on going at Meek, which lets me know that she's still feeling some type of way. She knows that Meek Mill doesn't want to be with her anymore, that she's stuck in a relationship with a guy who's been accused of various things. He's been accused of various things. That is the dude that she's with. That's the dude she's in love with. That's the dude she's married to. And for her to be joining in on this, going at Meek, she wanted an emotional response from Meek. Did Meek go back and forth with her? Yes. Should he? No. But according to the sources, it's here. According to the people connected to him, he wanted to say, hey, you know what? Let's talk in private. But Kenneth didn't want to do that because Kenneth is controlled by Nicki. I don't care how much of a thug you think you are. I don't care how tough you think you are. There's a woman pulling your strings, Kenny. A woman is pulling your strings. She has the money. She's in control of that relationship. I don't care what she tells you. Because any real man in that situation would have said, you know what, I'm not about to go back and forth, dude. Let's just go somewhere else. Or let's just keep shopping. Let's keep things cordial. But for you to be going back and forth with this guy lets me know that you're controlled by this female who still is harboring some bitter feelings towards Meek Mill. And this situation could have went completely wrong. It could have went completely wrong. Nicki's career is in a very stale, stagnant place. I think she should focus that energy there. She's doing the radio show, which is cool, But instead of putting your energy into shouting back and forth with this guy, put that energy into focusing on being happy. Focusing on building a life with Kenneth. Instead of harboring, bad feelings towards a guy that you claim you didn't want to be with no more. That you're done with. So why are you going back and forth with this guy in a West Hollywood store? Now, there were things said on both sides after the breakup. When she got with, I would say before she got with Kenny, but right when she got with Kenny, there have been some things said back and forth some little things, but it wasn't to the point to where they should come to blows. Now, the thing with Kenneth is that Kenneth has been very scrutinized. He's been very scrutinized by the media, by Nicki Minaj's fans, because they think that she could do better. But I think they have settled into the fact that this is the type of guy she wants to be with. And you know what's the interesting parallels in this situation with Nicki is with Britney Spears years ago when she started dating Kevin Federline. People claim that she was having a nervous breakdown. But what I noticed is that when these artists get in certain points of their careers, they will go and date certain type of guys who are more controllable. See, when Nicki was with Meek, she couldn't really control him. Like when he got into the issues with Drake, people are like, well, why didn't you do more to keep that situation from getting out of control by getting in his ear? And she was basically like she couldn't control Meek. But in the relationship that she's in now, she's more in control of what is going on. Now, apparently Meek Mill is becoming a father. I don't know if it's 100% been confirmed, but from my understanding, Meek Mill is becoming a father, which is a very good thing if that's what's going on. I think he might need that, you know, he might need that extra motivation to do things the right way because he has been doing things the right way. I don't think that this situation with Nicki should deter him from continuing to better himself and bettering his life. I mean, he already has a son, but I'm just saying, like, you know, having another kid may help him, you know, in the long run towards, you know, keeping himself out of, you know, bad predicaments and keeping him focused on getting the bag, you know. And, well, excuse me, he has 2 kids. I'm sorry, he has 2 kids. And him being 32 years old, he still has a lot to give to rap. You know, I'm actually a fan of Meek and some of the songs that he's put out. You know, I think that he should focus on the music. I think he has done that. I think getting into beefs with old flames is just not the way to go. Don't let females you don't want draw you into negative situations. Nicki Minaj is toxic. She's negative, and you don't need to be around her and around that particular type of energy, you know?